and the founders of Transylvania College for inviting me here to share this special moment with you, to celebrate not the end, but definitely the beginning of a very exciting time in your life. I know that when I graduated from high school, we moved around a lot when I was kids, and in fact, Alex, you and I should get together and maybe over a beer and talk. I grew up in Montana, in the United States, but we moved all over the country. And in fact, my senior year, I think I was in 3 high schools my senior year. But I graduated early. I graduated at 17, and I thought, what am I going to do with my life? I had no preparations whatsoever. I just had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And so instead of going on to college, which was financially not even an option for me at the time in my family, but I joined the Navy, right? So you join the military when you really can't decide what to do with your life. And I thought, I'll go around the world, I'll explore, I'll see interesting countries, and what a cool opportunity, right? Great. 17, I joined the military, get through boot camp, and soon thereafter, we go to the Gulf War. So I served 2 tours in what I call the first unpleasantness in the Gulf in the Persian Gulf, and add insult to injury on that front, our ship hit a mine. So we spent extra time in the Persian Gulf. After that, in my experience in the Navy, I got a lot of exposure to leadership and to people, and people ask me time and again, do you regret the time in the Navy? And I say, no, of course not. Like, well, wait, you went to war, you got hit by a mine, and all these other things, and those were formative years for me. Mostly they taught me a work ethic, right? That you can't back out of things. The military doesn't let you back out of things. But those years were formative for me because they also taught me or showed me the type of leaders that I guess I didn't really resonate with, and they didn't feel right to me. Basically, at the end of it, I knew what I didn't want to do with the rest of my life, which was be in the Navy. So I got out of the Navy and went to Utah. I went to culinary school. Got out of culinary school. I became a chef de cuisine, a sous chef, an executive chef, and then a pastry chef. And I was like, this is cool. I like this a lot. But I was working a lot, and I thought, I can't see myself doing this at 50. 50 years old, cranking on a hot kitchen line. Ooh, no. So I went back to school. And of course, the natural choice is computer science, right? So I go to school, and I'm moonlighting, right? So I'm working at the bakery at 2 a.m., get out of the bakery at 8, I go to school, and lo and behold, I get my computer science degree, and I do an internship. And again, those experiences in the restaurants were formative for me because they exposed me to a whole wide range of personalities, a wide range of leadership styles, and things started to really click with me of again, what I didn't want to be when I grew up. So I graduate from college, I get a job, I work in the supercomputing industry. We built some of the largest supercomputers in the world, and then I find myself here in Romania. It's interesting when I look at all the events that have transpired in my life, from high school, the way I grew up, to the exposure that I've had to different leadership styles, to different personalities. All of them have inspired me and created the person that I am today. And I would say that even though I didn't know what I wanted to do when I graduated from high school, I definitely had a plan, or at least I had a commitment to explore as many things as I could. And then when I found that thing that really drove or gave me passion, that I would find it and I would dive into it, and that I would try to be the best that I could at each one of those things. And it's interesting because before coming to this celebration, this ceremony, a really close mentor of mine and one of my previous managers had sent me an email of some thoughts that he had. He didn't know that I was speaking today about two very important factors in life. One of them is curiosity. So a constant curiosity. If you think about it, if you don't have curiosity, you can't find out that passion that drives you from either one day to the next, if you stay in a career your entire life, or to explore that next thing, the next opportunity that might present itself. And so I would say that curiosity is that one thing that has always driven me to be the best that I could at whatever I was doing at the time, but also to try to engage others, to learn as much as I can about the people that I was seeing or interacting with throughout my life. The second one is completing the task, right? The interesting thing that I see with the new engineers that come to Garmin each year is that they're so anxious to start the project, right? They're so interested in getting engaged and start coding, right? They just want to start coding and have that momentum, but then they lose it after a while, right? And after a while, they decide, we'll leave bugs to be fixed by someone else, and they just don't maintain that momentum through the completion of the projects. And I think that's something that we can take away for life as well, right? Is when I reflect on my own life, with the Navy, right? You can get out of the Navy, but it's very difficult, and there's repercussions for that. You can drop out of college. I don't doubt that each and every one of you, as bright as you are, will have some silver-tongued devil come up to you and say, "Don't worry about graduation. Come work for us. Come work and not graduate from school." Do not yield to that temptation. That is something that, long run, you need your education, obviously, to give you that foundation. But it also proves something to the rest of the world. It's stick-to-itiveness, right? I don't think that's an actual word, but it is a thing. It shows that you have the determination to finish the things that you've set out to do. What I found really striking as I looked around at the different portfolios, the biographies of each of you, reading them, is how many of you have you already have plans for the future. Most of you are going off to, not just to colleges and universities, but you're going off to colleges and universities abroad. Many of you are already engaged in either civil leadership or volunteering. And actually, what I was really impressed with was the fact that how many of you, for your career plans, there's an altruistic component, right? How many of you are either looking towards helping with poverty or hunger? I also saw one where for medical and psychological help, for mental health issues around the world, which is a huge problem. All of those are fantastic things to help guide you in what you really want to become. Chasing money, it's a thing, but it's fleeting and it has diminishing returns. I think finding that altruistic component, the thing that drives you and enables you to help others, that's what helps us get engaged in the community, and it helps us help the next generation. I think about, again, when I graduated from high school, I have no idea that I would be here today. Not in Romania, not speaking to you, not leading Garmin here in Cluj, or even where I was 5 years ago. But I think that curiosity has always driven me to explore what that next avenue is. And it hasn't been without challenges, and I think that there's an interesting quote from a rather famous, or perhaps infamous, American boxer who said, Mike Tyson, who said, everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the face. And I think all of us have experienced that. You have a plan and you're charging along and everything's going, clicking right, and then all of a sudden something happens, right? And it's not a matter of if, it's when. It will happen. You will have a plan, you'll think it's great, and then you're going to get punched in the face. And I think it's that fortitude to stand back up, to dust yourself off and say, okay, that was my plan. Now what's the new plan? So remember that So when you get punched in the face, it's like, okay, I need to get back up, I need to change the plan, because that's important. Because I think that's what's going to ultimately make you happy in the long run, but it's also going to help you contribute to other people's happiness as well. The last thing I want to share with you is try with all your might to strike a balance in your life. One of the things that I emphasize almost daily is I've got to make time for work, obviously. I've got to make time for my family, but I've also got to make time for me. So each day I dedicate time to each one of those things. And I would say that particularly in U.S. culture for some reason, Romania, you're pretty good about dedicating personal time. A striking thing about living here in Romania, and you can ask Carla this as well, my wife, is that we are more social here than we have ever been anywhere in the United States. And it's not because the friends are different, but they are. But it's a cultural thing. And I think that here in Romania, there's this culture around enjoying the moment, right? And I think that's something that you, as either locals or international students here visiting your time here at Transylvania College, you're in that. You probably know what that is. When you leave here, you'll know what I'm talking about because it doesn't exist in some other places. So take that personal time, enjoy the time with your family, but also make sure that you set aside a time for yourself. Health is important. Make sure that you're setting aside time for your body to rejuvenate, to reset your battery, recharge your battery, and make sure that when you turn 50 and 60, that you're still able to do the things that you enjoy. So thank you very much for this opportunity to speak to you. Congratulations. It's a wonderful accomplishment, but this is the start. Thank you much.